I'm Crystal, and welcome. I want to share something today about healing that I feel is very profound because it's so simple. And if you're in a place in your own healing journey, and I'll use the metaphor of learning the ABCs, if you happen to speak English or another language that utilizes the alphabet, you learn the song, you're singing the song. You can recite the alphabet from A to Z and backwards and forwards. You can start from any point, starting from F or starting from L or going backwards. You know your ABCs. And the next level is phrases and being astounded at the language that you already know and learning how to write the language. Inscribe things. That's fascinating. That's really exciting when you're in that stage of your development, if that's something that resonates with you. And then you learn how to read and put letters together and spell your own name and then write your own name. Exciting, right? So, for example, now you can pick up a book and read. You're not thinking about the alphabet. You're not thinking about the ABCs. It's not necessary for you to recite the ABCs to read a book or to read a sign. You just do it. It's automatic. Your brain is doing this, and so is your spirit, and so is your soul. So, using this metaphor to apply it to my channel, you've arrived in the right spot. If you can just pick up a book and read in your own healing journey, you're at that place. If some things just don't resonate with you, or you tune out because it's heavily focused on trauma healing, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you've done that work and you're on to the next level. You've arrived at the right spot. I'm going to share something that came to me as soon as I woke up it wasn't as soon as I woke up this morning, but after I'd tidied up and I was looking at things. Yes, it was this seeing a tug of war. And if you've ever had an experience where you're like, I can't do this, I can't let this be, it's your ego. So if you're having a disagreement with someone, or someone is doing something to you, let's say a narcissist had you in their grips for a period of time, and you woke up and you healed yourself and you moved forward, and then you meet another one, and then it's something where you can't extract yourself from them. You're close to them, and you do all the work. You're like, okay, I'm forgiving in the moment, I'm doing all these things that have worked in other situations. It's just not working, and that is because your ego is involved in it. And using myself as an example, so I'm not an overly religious person, but I am very spiritual, and I respect all thought and anyone's own perceptions of spirit or God or anything that you want to call anything. I refer to the universe, I refer to God, I refer to the Supreme Being, I refer to universal truths. I oftentimes substitute that, but it all means higher spirit as far as I'm concerned. So you have your ego and you have the higher spirit. You have your soul. We are all connected on a soul level, like it or not. Yes, we are. And when we hear that in the beginning of our journey, or reading about it, we're like, okay, I can get with that. But you haven't had enough life experience to really put it into effect, to really understand it. I hope that I'm here today to help those of you who have had a recent epiphany about this. So, yes, we are all connected. For example, have you ever been listening to someone speak about it's a general reading, and let's say there's 500 comments, and almost everyone is like, yes, this resonates, this is spot on, and so on and so forth. And sometimes people will even comment, I can't believe so many people are having this this experience. Well, that is a prime example of we're all connected. We might feel like we're walking individually, and yes, we are. We're having our own experiences in our own individual bodies, but on a soul level, there is you're connected with millions of people. Even more than that. If I got too deep with that, we go to the other dimensions, I would say it's unlimited. It's eternal soul conversation. You can't even, your brain can't think about it. It is what it is. So that's what I'm talking about. That energy. Energy is real, and this is what this channel is all about. So getting back on track with what I'm talking about, ego and soul. And a lot of the 80s spiritualists and spiritual teachers, and I would say all the way back to the 60s, right? If you've read a lot of the authors and a lot of the books in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, all kind of looking at this ego death, and trying to get over the ego, and the ego is bad, bad, bad. No. How can the ego be bad? The ego is not bad. The ego is not bad. The ego is you, is a part of your soul, is a part of your individuation of the soul experience of the collective. The collective is all of us connected together. It's the unconscious and the conscious. And here we're conscious. We are completely conscious. But don't get it mistaken. We still deal with unconscious energy. And so that's the ego. The ego is like, I'm here. I'm high. I'm high above the rest. That's your ego. And if you say something like, there's the conscious thought and there's the unconscious thought. And I know right now I'm having a conscious thought, and I know a lot, but I don't know everything. That's your soul. And the ego is just really invested in me. It needs to be. And there's nothing wrong with that, or we wouldn't grow. We need to be selfish. So, however, where it gets us, where it traps us, is if when we're trying to evolve and we're trying to grow and we're trying to force a situation to change. That's the ego. And I had an ego moment this morning where I saw my ego, like I saw a balloon deflating, and I'm like, oh wow. And then I saw a tug of war, and the message is, if you're in a tug of war with someone and you think that that person is the only one holding the rope, you're wrong. You are too. If you see it, and that's a good visualization, it's a good way to determine that. If you are going through something, close your eyes, go into your third eye, in your mind's eye, you'll know. And if you see a rope, or if you feel the tug of war, you might be a clairvoyant where you feel things. You might be a clairvoyant where you see things. You might be a clairvoyant where you smell things. You might be clairaudient where you hear things. So use your predominant sense and feel it. Now, if you see a rope, that's your key indication that you are in a tug of war and you're in it too. And you know what the simplest way to get out of it? Release the rope. Just drop it. Drop the rope. You already know, by this time, if you've been in this tug of war, and I'm gonna guess it's years or months or weeks, and you're so highly intelligent that you analyzed it, you looked at it energetically, you've journaled about it, you've even recorded videos of yourself talking about it, you've read your cards, your tarot cards, you've gotten all kinds of answers and epiphanies, and you're like, ding, 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 yes, that's it. And so now, if you see this rope, you're at the end of it, and you have a choice. You can either keep looking at this rope and tugging, and you want it there, or you can let it go. And let me tell you something, it's easy to let it go after you did all this work. Just drop it. And now, whenever that comes up and you see it, you feel it, drop the rope. And then it's effortless. The same as reading a book, or reading a sign, or reading someone's name, or writing your name. You don't have to think about the alphabet anymore. Same thing here. You will, whenever you get in a conflict or struggle, or somebody's in your energy or in your space, and you have no control over that, you absolutely do not. Your ego wants you to believe that you do. And I believe this is where the teachings of the past were on the right track, and we're getting us to this point where now we're in the age of Aquarius and all the truth is rising up. And I'm not taking credit for this. This is Spirit. I got this as a download this morning. And Spirit said, just drop it. You don't have to look at this anymore. If you feel it again, and it might take some practice, just drop it. Release it. I felt so free. I was singing and dancing, doing my laundry, cleaning up my house. Like, yeah. And I just kept seeing it. The next visual I got from Spirit was a dog chasing its tail, in terms of the person and persons I was dealing with. I'm not even going to get into the situation because I know you understand. And you've had certain situations like that as well, with difficult people or people who are unhealed. I'll use that as going forward. We'll refer to it as healed and unhealed. Unhealed people who are projecting onto you or triggered by you. Often, more times than not, if they're triggered by you and they lash out, and they do not like you. So first of all, the healing work that you had to do was to not let that get to you. It's like, you love yourself. It's like, that's okay if you don't like me, that's all right. And then you started to see this person's not healed, and then you got in, eventually you were able to get into compassion. Me, myself, and I, it's difficult to be compassionate when you're in your ego. It's impossible. You can't do it. Heart. Compassion comes in the heart center. Compassion is in the soul realm, not in your ego. So as soon as I released the ego, dropped that rope, I felt compassion. I'm like, that must suck to be that invested in another person's life, that you're worrying about what they're doing, how they're doing it, when they're doing it, how you can be in competition with it, instead of knowing where you are in your own path. So the dog chasing his tail, that's where I see this person. And when you first see that, and I know most people have seen that in their lifetime, and you're looking at the dog and it's like, dog, that's your tail. Why are you chasing your own tail like that? And then you're like, well, maybe they're having fun. And then you go through all kinds of calculations in your mind. And then the next time you see it, you're not really thinking about it. It's just a thing that dogs do. Well, a thing that unhealed people do is chase their own tails, and for a very long time or forever, and then they take their last breath and they never got it. And so now I'm compassionate towards people who are like that, and I'm not matching their energy. I'm dropping the rope. I'm going on about my business, and I'm recognizing that they are chasing their own tail, and there's nothing I can do about that. What happens if you try to interrupt a dog that you don't know chasing its own tail, and you don't know its name, or you don't know what's going on with it, and you try to stick your hand in there and grab the tail, or that dog's going to bite you or growl at you, or it's not going to be a happy ending. Same things happens when you try to heal unhealed people who don't even know they are unhealed. Why are you doing that? You have to stop doing that, healer. And it's okay. And it takes a while to get out of that cycle, because we are trained. We are healers. We feel. But you have to stop, because it will keep taking you out of your space and out of balance with yourself.